Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. The Fed are going to cut rates this week, but as investors, we need to look forward into 2026, and that's what this video is going to be about. Where is XRP going to be in 2026? Are we going to break $2 and go all the way down to $1, or are we going to be in a continuous bull market and try and break $3 again and go to $10 in 2026 plus? If a rate cut comes, which we all know is coming, or we're very confident that a rate cut's coming this FOMC, where does that leave us next year? Because everyone can agree that there's going to be a rate cut this time, but in 2026, that's when it gets down and dirty. And what I mean by that is that's when everyone is going to be fighting each other internally at the Fed. New Fed chairman, people are going to be in the ditches saying that there should be a rate cut. Other people are saying there shouldn't be a rate cut. People are going to be talking about inflation. People are going to be talking about the economy. And then it's going to be time to decide, are we in a recession or have we had a soft landing? All will happen in 2026. So let's get straight into this video. So firstly, let's go and have a look at the chart of XRP, and then I'll tell you the whole fundamental analysis as well. Right now, XRP is at $2. A few weeks ago, about a couple months ago, we started exploring the idea, are we in a bear market? And we could say that we are in a bear market. We could say we're in a bull market. No one really knows. It's a term you use in the future. It's a term where you look back in a year and you go, actually, we were in a bear market if XRP is at $1, but no one really knows right now. We have had quite a sizable drawdown already. So that's why I'm not selling my XRP. We're already down 45%. We've called for a 50% drop many times for XRP, and we've got it. We recently had a trade for XRP. Binance went as low as 77 cents. No one was able to buy XRP at 77 cents, of course, but many people got liquidated at 77 cents. So that was what happened on October the 11th, Friday the 10th, I think it was. But apart from that, we made a very good trade. We bought XRP at $1.60. We sold it at $2.40. We've continuously in this bull run bought at $2, sold at $3. We've done that a couple times. We bought at $2, sold at $2.30, bought at $2, sold at $2.50. Many times this bull market. We bought last bull market at 30 cents, but we need to stop looking at the past and start looking at the future. What is going on with XRP right now? Well, XRP has been in quite a constant downtrend now. And this is what we have called for. I can't come out and say we are in a bear market. I can't come out and say we're in a bull market. All I can say is this is how you prepare for a bull market. These are the levels I'll be selling. This is how you prepare for a bear market. Don't be over leveraged. Don't panic sell. Know what you're holding. Make sure you have enough money to pay your bills. Cryptocurrency is volatile. There's a lot of volatility in cryptocurrencies. XRP is no exception. Stop listening to other YouTubers that tell you every single day that XRP is going to go to $100 by the end of the year and $1,000 by next year, because they're always wrong. The worst crime we committed on this channel was saying that XRP potentially was going to hit $10. And again, I said a 50% chance XRP was going to hit $10 this year, and it didn't. But we got very close. We bought at 30 cents and went to $3.50. A 10x in a year is not bad. That's the biggest crime we committed on this channel, but I'm sure you can forgive us for the amount of amazing trades we've made as well. And also, if you go back and look at those predictions, I always said there's a 50% chance XRP would hit $10, and we very quickly changed our prediction as soon as we didn't break $3.50 back in July of 2025. So that's the biggest crime we've committed. Go and look at what other channels have been doing during this time, selling you leverage trading courses, selling you leverage trading on different exchanges so they can win when you lose. We are the most honest channel out there, so if you do appreciate it, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you have subscribed as well. We will be covering FOMC. That is going to be quite an important FOMC, because it's not about if there's going to be a rate cut or not, because we're all very confident there will be a rate cut. It's more about what Jerome Powell says, and we're going to be covering it live on the show. It's going to be me and Martyn covering it, so two separate streams for you guys to choose what you want to watch. You can watch a bit of both. You can come to me for the technicals, go to Martyn for the fundamentals. There'll be two FOMC streams this week, and you can choose which one you watch, both on this channel, so do go and check them out. But back to the chart of XRP. $2 is a key point. And as I said, I can't predict if we're in a bull market or a bear market. If I had to guess, I would say we're in a bear market, and I told you that a couple months ago. If we break $2, what do? I'm not, again, don't follow me. I don't give financial advice. Nothing I say is financial advice. Please do not buy or sell based on anything I say. Do your own research. My strategy is very clear. I love XRP. I think in the future it's going to be worth $10. I think it'll be worth $50. And maybe one day, 10 years from now, it will be worth $100. I'm not going to come out and say stupid predictions about $10,000 or $589. I don't say stuff like that. I look realistically, and they're still great gains. So I know where it can go. I love XRP. So I'm not selling XRP. If I might trade XRP, I might have a little trading bag. And again, not recommended for most people. I've been doing this for 8 years, and that's why I'm very profitable with my trades, but most people actually lose on their trades. I've been able to make a lot of money this cycle, even though I haven't sold. I think I've sold 10% or 15% of my spot bag around $3.50, and I did that live on the show. The way I've managed to make money this cycle was constantly buying XRP, and I did it live on the show at $2, selling at $2.50, buying it at $2, selling at $3, buying it at $2, buying at $1.80 last week or October the 10th, and selling at $2.30. That's how I've made money. But about 15% of my spot bag I've sold. 85% I'm still in. A lot of my altcoins I haven't sold. So the reason I'm still holding XRP is because there's no point me selling it if I think in 5 years' time it's going to be worth $10, because that's still a great return on my investment. So the way I'm doing it this cycle is I'm not looking to take all my profits. I'm looking to buy more. That's all I want to do. I believe in XRP. I've done the research about XRP. I've covered XRP for 4 years. I know what I'm buying. I know where I want to sell my spot bag. So what do? Well, I just look at the chart, I look at the technical analysis, and I say if it goes to these levels, I buy. And what are those levels? Well, I'll tell you them later on in the video. And where will I sell? Well, I'm not looking to sell any of my spot bag until at least $4 to $5, which could be next year, but it could be in 4 years' time. Let me explain to you why next year is so important. So let's go over to our very own newsletter. It's the first link in the description. Every single day, trading day, you'll get the morning brief. I'm going to actually send this out as a newsletter as well. It's part of a deep dive as well. This is all about the rate cut. Wednesday, when we actually have the FOMC, there's going to be a full exclusive newsletter on FOMC and how to trade it and what to look out for Jerome Powell things. That's to come up. So do check it out. First link in the description. It's also in the live chat right now. You get a 1 week free trial. So if you get the free trial now, you'll have it during FOMC, and you can always cancel later. There is a monthly plan and a free plan as well. So let me tell you the news, and then we'll come back to the XRP chart where I'll tell you if I think we're going to break $2 and where we're going to go, or what will happen with XRP. Again, it's just a prediction. I don't know. But this gives me the edge. The research gives us an edge. Not looking at just Wednesday, looking into 2026, because there is a big issue in 2026, and I'll tell you more about it now. So markets have locked in a December rate cut. We're looking at about an 87.6% probability of a rate cut. If he comes out, remember, we get an idea of the rate cut 30 minutes before, because that's when the rate decision is made. 30 minutes later, we go over to Jerome Powell. We'll be covering both of that live on the channel, so make sure you do one thing and subscribe. The first thing we're going to see is what the rate decision was. Was it a cut or was it a pause? We're not expecting, there's no chance we're going to get a hike. So was it a cut? Was it a pause? We're very much expecting a cut. So if it is a cut, the market won't really react until we start looking at the numbers and how much disagreement there was at the Fed, because we get to see the dot plot. That happens half an hour before. If it is a pause, the market will crash. The market will crash straight away, and then we can start looking at our buy zones around $1.70, $1.50. We'll look at all of that. Can you warn of a fake Trump stream? Yeah, I always do this warning. Thank you for super chatting to give this warning out to everyone. This is a warning, whether you're watching this as a video or live. There is many scams out there. Many channels were covering Swell event with Brad Garlinghouse. It says there's 24,000 people watching. There's not 24,000 people watching, but even there's 10 people watching, some people get scammed. So they put a QR code up on the screen. They tell you to send money, and they'll double it. It's a scam. If it sounds too good to be true, it's a scam. If someone says XRP is going to $1,000 by the end of the year, that's too good to be true. It's a scam. They're scamming you. If someone's telling you to send me money and I'll send you double back, it's a scam. If someone pretends to be me, if someone pretends to be Martyn and says we've got investment opportunity for you, it's a scam. We never direct message you. We never talk to you about your finances. If anyone pretends to use my logo or Martyn's logo and messages you, it's a scam. We never message you. We never talk about your finances. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. That was very important. Let me see if I can bring that on the screen. I'm not sure why that didn't come up. Let me check. Oh, it was off, so that will hopefully come up later. Um, okay, so let's go back to our very own newsletter. So markets are pricing in a rate cut. But what the market has no idea what will happen is 2026. It's fracturing. While the immediate data justifies one more reduction, everyone agrees there should be, no one says there shouldn't be another rate cut. All economists, most people at the Fed, everyone says we're not at the final rate yet. We're not at the neutral rate yet. Everyone agrees on a rate cut. Maybe they say it should be in December. Some people might say it's in January. It should be in January or whenever the next meeting is. The next meeting would be 20. Some people say it should be in the 10th of December. Some people say it should be in January. Everyone agrees that there should be a rate cut. However, after that, the Federal Reserve is quietly splitting into two camps over the theoretical neutral rate. What is a neutral rate? Well, that's the rate they want to come down to. We're not going to zero interest rates. That's not the point. The point is to be at a neutral rate where inflation's under control and the jobs market is not collapsing. That is where the disagreement comes. And in 2026, we're looking to achieve the neutral rate. This internal civil war, the market hates internal civil wars. The market hates the Fed not agreeing on everything because it shows that no one knows, there's no confidence, and no one has the answer. When everyone agrees on something, the market goes, brilliant, we're all in agreement. If we come to a point where people are starting to disagree at the Fed, the market will not like that. So this internal civil war, combined with the likely nomination of a politically active shadow chair, creates a dangerous volatility trap for bond and equity investors next year. Even if you're a crypto investor, if you're a stock market investor, do not forget about the bond market. The bond market is more important than you'll ever know. The bond market is 10 times more important than the stock market. It's 10 times bigger than the stock market, and it has 10 times the influence on the stock market than any rate cut. This is a test, so let me just mute that. So the target rate probability. This is the chart. We can see there's an. I apologize for that. I don't know what just happened there. Let's go over to our key drivers and analysis. This is a very quick summary. This is only going to be another 5-10 minutes video because we just want to give you the key ideas going into FOMC week. Remember, I'm covering it, Martyn's covering it, we're both covering it at the same time on the same channel. You get to choose, you get to flick between both, but it's going to be live on this channel, so make sure you are subscribed and you have hit the like button. Make sure you have signed up to a newsletter so you get the morning brief before the FOMC day, because that's going to be a very important newsletter. Okay. The December lock, 25 basis points. The Fed is positioned to lower rates to 3.5 to 3.75% on December the 9th to 10th meeting. This third consecutive cut now explicitly forecasts by 82% of economists. 82% of economists think this, 86% of the Fed watch tool, or what was it, 80? We've got the data here. 86% of economists are, and the market is pricing in a rate cut. And what was a catalyst to all of this? It was the New York Fed President John Williams. The November the 21st pivot. He signaled that the labor market downside now outweighs inflation risk. He came out and said the labor market's more important to look after, and how do you look after the labor market? You cut rates. And the reason that one was important compared to Fed Waller, for example, Fed President John Williams is very close to Jerome Powell. They like to move in sync. He never really deviates. Oh, we've got a special guest.
Jack Tatman donated £5 through a super chat. Can you warn of fake Trump stream with QR code? IT has 24k viewers.
Thank you very much. Yes. Please be careful with these fake streams, whether it's Trump streaming with a QR code and saying invest in this crypto, Brad Garlinghouse, Michael Saylor, all of these big names. They're never live. If there's that many people watching, it's normally fake, and they're telling you to scan a QR code. Do not scan a QR code. Don't send money to anyone. Don't. We personally, Martyn, me, Vaz, Martyn, me, Vaz. They might use our logos. They might try and scam you, but you need to be more clever, and you need to understand that we don't message you. We don't talk to you about your finances. We are not here to give you investment advice. We only stream on YouTube. We don't message you, so please be careful. They could be convincing. If you're ever in doubt, come into the YouTube live chat, send a super chat, or send a message on the live chat, and we will verify it's not us. But It's never us. We never message you. Okay, number 2, the neutral rate war, civil war. This is what 2026 can bring in store, and this is what I'm concerned about, which is one of the reasons I might be selling some of my stocks. I might be accumulating more cash. I might not be investing in the markets until I hit my certain levels, is because I think it can get very... it could get ugly in 2026. I really think it can. It can do. Again, I will still be invested in case it doesn't. I'm always prepared. You need to be the same. Are you prepared for it to get ugly? Are you prepared for it to go to the moon? Are you prepared to go sideways? If you are, you're ready for every scenario. That's great. If you're not ready for a 50% crash, if you're not ready for an 80% crash, if you're not ready for a 100% pump, and if you're not ready to go sideways for 2 years, your portfolio is not right. There is something deeply wrong with your portfolio, and you need to revisit it. So this is where it can get ugly. It's the neutral rate civil war. The consensus collapses in 2026. Policymakers disagree on the neutral rate. Everyone's in agreement right now. We're slowly starting to see cracks emerge. Like last FOMC, people were disagreeing. This FOMC, we might get more people disagreeing. And people are going to start looking into 2026. We're in December now. People will start looking into 2026 at this FOMC. Everyone agrees we should lower rates. Me, I agree. Martyn agrees. Jerome Powell agrees. You watching agree. Economists around the world agree there should be at least one more rate cut. But after that one more rate cut, which we're going to get in 3 days' time, most probably, people start to disagree. And when people disagree, that's when the civil war starts. So the consensus collapses in 2026. And us as investors, we look forward. We need to look forward. We can't just look at tomorrow. We need to look into 2026. Policymakers disagree on the neutral rate. And what does the neutral rate mean? Well, it's the rate that neither stimulates nor restricts. That's the rate that means, remember, the Fed has 2 jobs: keep inflation under control and keep the jobs market alive. That rate basically means that neutral rate, whether it's another rate cut away or 5 rate cuts away or 3 rate cuts away, wherever that neutral rate is supposed to keep inflation under control so we don't have inflation surging back towards the upside, and keeps the jobs market in check so the jobs market doesn't collapse and go into a recession. So now the estimates, and this is where it gets a bit worrying, is the estimates are now ranging from 2.6% at the neutral rate to 3.9%. So a few people say actually we should not cut rates anymore, and a few people say we need to cut rates another 4 or 5 times. This creates 2 distinct policy paths. The dovish case, this is what Goldman and Miriam says: tariffs and policy uncertainty have lowered the neutral rate to 2.5 to 3%. The Fed must cut aggressively to avoid damaging the economy. The hawkish case is AI-driven productivity has raised the neutral rate to above 3.5%. The Fed is arguably already there. Further cuts risk reigniting inflation. There's the camp of people that say, actually, no more rate cuts or one more rate cut and just keep it there because inflation's sticky and we don't want to reignite it. And there's a camp of people saying the tariffs, the policies, the neutral rate should be much lower now. Inflation is no longer a problem. And jobs are the problem. We need to bring the rate down so we protect our jobs market. Those are the 2 groups of people, and that's what you're going to hear a lot of in 2026. These 2 groups of people, the dovish and the hawkish people. So the collision, the stimulus versus restraint. Investors face a rare macro paradox. The government is applying physical gas. What's that? We're talking about tax cuts, the big beautiful bill, while the Fed taps the monetary brakes. If tariff spikes inflation in Q1 of 2026, the Fed may be forced to pause cuts just as the economy absorbs new fiscal stimulus. And this is a synopsis. We're going to be looking at this more and more and more going into 2026. We're going to look at this at the FOMC report I put out on the newsletter on Wednesday. But this is starting to get you guys ready for 2026. And remember, it's not all sunshine. It can be, but there is a real problem underlying, and we're going to start exploring this more and more on this channel to get you ready for both scenarios. So the structural implications, let's talk about the shadow chair risk. We now know who's most likely to become the next Jerome Powell, and we're looking at Kevin Hassett, the director of the National Economic Council. So the primary risk for 2026 is political. It's not economic. And why are we saying that? Well, because Kevin Hassett is now the front runner to replace Powell in May of 2026, with prediction markets assigning 74 to 86% odds of him. taking over. If you are watching as a video or live, do consider becoming a member of the channel. After this, we're actually going to be doing an Electrum event. Electrum events is for our VIP members and above to join in for trivia, ask their questions, do chart requests. So it's our newest, best, most valuable membership on this channel. So do become a member, go to the homepage of the channel, look at membership and upgrade to Electrum or become an Electrum member. And you can join those members only events. Plus you get access to all the perks from bronze and silver. We're going to be going straight to that after this. So do consider becoming an Electrum event member. Hassett has publicly advocated. Who's Hassett? Let me remind you. Hassett is probably going to be the nominee to become the next Jerome Powell, the next Fed chair. Why do we say that? Well, the prediction markets are saying that. Trump has hinted towards that. Hassett has hinted towards that. Trump recently came out and said he's decided who his Fed chair is going to be, but he's not telling us who it is yet. From all the evidence, the prediction markets are putting him at 74 to 86% odds. So Hassett has publicly advocated for deeper and faster cuts. That really aligns with what Donald Trump says. He says, I would be cutting right now. This element of Hassett is creating a shadow chair. This will be happening between January to May. Powell remains formally in charge. He's cautious, but Hassett signals aggressive easing from sidelines. Dovish. So the danger is if the bond vigilantes, and remember we're coming back to bonds because bonds are important, if the bond vigilantes believe Hassett-led Fed will tolerate higher inflation, then they may sell long-term treasuries, driving up yields even as the Fed cuts. This will tighten financial conditions, punishing the very growth stocks banking on easy money. So, let me break this down because this is what it all comes down to. You would think if the Fed cut rates, it's brilliant. And most of the time, it's great. Money's cheaper. People invest in markets because the bond yields aren't great. But, and there's a big but, and this is the big but for 2026. You can cut rates and mortgages can go up. Stock market can come down. That can still happen even with a great Fed, which you might think rate cuts are brilliant. We just want rate cuts, rate cuts, rate cuts, rate cuts. Actually, sometimes that's really bad. And I'll explain more in a second. But essentially, if we have a Fed governor who comes out, and I'm not saying Hassett is bad, and I'm not saying he would do this, but if he does come out and just deliver rate cut after rate cut, ignores inflation, what he would do is, yes, short-term rates will come down. But when you're looking at your mortgage and when you're looking at people investing in the US debt, they're going to get higher yields. And when you get higher yields, that basically means your mortgage goes up. And if you buy bonds, you're going to get a greater return. What does that mean? Well, if you're buying 10-year bonds, very, very safe, you can be earning 5-6% on your investment risk-free. Everyone will go and look at that and say, why would I invest in the stock market for an extra 1 or 2% gain? And essentially, that's what will cause the stock market to come down and mortgages to go up. I'll show you an infographic in a second and it'll make it much clearer. So the market sentiment and positioning. Tech, bullish but fragile. It's rallying on lower rate hopes but is vulnerable if treasury yields spike above 4.2%. So tech right now is great, it's rallying, lower rates are coming. However, if treasury yields go up, it's at danger. Financials, they're hedging. Banks face margin compression from cuts, but could benefit if crypto yield steepens. So the bank faces margin compressions from cuts, but can benefit if the yields curve steepens, long-term rates rising faster than short-term. And if we're looking at crypto, it's front-running the debasement trade, anticipating aggressive stimulus under Hassett. Now, this is what explains the big issue about 2026. And the big issue if we get someone who just is going to cut rates no matter what and just listens to Trump to cut rates. And again, we're not getting political, but we're saying if we get someone who comes in and delivers on what Trump has said publicly, and maybe what Trump says publicly is not what he actually wants to happen, but let's say it is. Let's say we get Hassett in, and let's say Trump says you need to keep cutting rates, and Hassett just cuts rates after cutting rates and cuts rates and cuts rates. This is what will happen. he will ignore the Fed chair would ignore inflation. Inflation can essentially start going back up because we're not restrictive enough anymore and we're not neutral and rates are too low. The government, the world and the market will start demanding more for their 10-year bonds. Essentially, they will sell their bonds. Why would they sell their bonds? Well, they will go, actually, we demand much more than 4% for our 10-year bonds because the inflation's going up. The US economy is not looking great. If I'm going to buy US government debt, I want more return on my money. And if they start doing that, rates will start going up. Yields on their 10-year bonds will start going up. So they will sell the long term. The short-term rates will come down because he's cutting rates, but the long-term rates, which the Fed doesn't really control, will start going up. Mortgages will start rising, and we will essentially have yields higher than 4%. We'll have them at 5%, 6%, and people will start not investing in the stock market, reduce that risk, and buy bonds. So that's the essential issue we have. That's all in the newsletter. Go and check it out. We'll be building on this idea more and more, but I just wanted to give you a heads up about it and give you a quick idea of what we're talking about. So keep an eye on the 10-year Treasury yield. If it starts going above 4.2%, 4.5%, we're in real trouble. Keep an eye on PC inflation. We got it recently at 2.8%. Is it going to stay sticky at 2.8%? Because if inflation stays at 2.8%, it didn't change from last month. We got it again a couple of days ago. It was at consensus, nothing terrible. But if it stops moving down, then and we keep cutting rates, then we have an issue there. And keep an eye on Kevin Hassett. See what he starts saying in interviews, because he's the next Fed governor. That's the person we need to start looking towards, because he's going to be in power in 6 months' time. So we need to treat him as a new Fed governor and see what he says. That's what the market's going to be looking at, so that's what we should be looking at. So treat his media appearances as unofficial forward guidance. Any mention of a 1% target will rattle bond markets. If he says, I'm going to cut rates to 1%, expect chaos when he comes into power. Again, this is not political, but we're exploring different ideas of what happens. In all likelihood, he's probably not going to want to keep cutting rates, and he probably won't listen to Trump, and Trump probably doesn't want him to cut rates and cut rates and cut rates because it sounds good to the general public, and that's why he says it. But in reality, he knows the dangers of cutting rates too quickly. So will this actually happen? Maybe. We need to keep an eye on it. We need to look into 2026, and of course, we've got the problem of inflation and the jobs market. And is that going to be solved next year, or is it not? Well, that's the question. And back to XRP's chart. If you are enjoying the video so far, make sure you tune into FOMC next week. This will link to FOMC, so go and check it out at the end. But please do make sure you have hit the like button. Please do make sure you have subscribed. Go to the first link in the description or in the live chat and sign up to the newsletter so you have it before the FOMC day, so you're prepared with me. I'll have a whole fact sheet, or let's call it a trader's cheat sheet, especially for FOMC. So you want to get that before it comes out. So back to XRP's chart. If we don't get rate cut, then expect, we'll go over to my other chart where I've got all my buy zones. If we don't get a rate cut, expect the market to crash. I've got my limit orders set up at $1.80. I've got my limit orders set up at $1.70. I've also got my limit orders set up at $1.40. That's sort of the level we came down to on October the 10th. I'll be buying at 183. I'll be buying at 171. And if we actually end up in a bear market, I told you, I'm not going to be selling. I'm not going to be panicking. I'm going to be excited to buy XRP. And I've got my limit order set up at 1.838. I've got my limit order set up at 108. If it goes any lower, I'm a buyer. And then obviously I've got my limit orders to sell on the upside. My first sell order is around $4.40. If I get these buys at $1, $1.38, then my first sales might be around $4.20. But the trend is down at the moment. Let's see if we hold the line in the sand, which is $2. $2 is a very important level for me. This is the level that we keep trading. It's an area of a lot of liquidity. But remember, what was the issue? Well, on October the 10th, we took out all the buys. Everyone who had a buy order, like me, got their buy orders filled. They're not looking to buy again. There might be some buy orders that have crept into the market over the last month. However, especially with the ETF, which was great success. However, a lot of those buy orders got filled. So next time we have a crash, and if we have a crash, and if FOMC doesn't go well this week and we don't get a rate cut, or early 2026, everyone starts getting worried about Hassett becoming the Fed chair, then there could be no liquidity between $1.40 and $1.97. So we could revisit $1.40, and that's very easily done. So my plea to you is, if you're not ready for $1.40, you shouldn't be investing, because that's very likely to happen. If we go into downtrend, $1 is also likely to happen. We could go lower. It's volatile. It's XRP. So if you're not prepared for XRP to go down another 50%, what you're nowhere near ready for a bear market. If you're not ready for XRP to go to $10, you're not ready. If you're not ready for XRP to go sideways, you need to look at your portfolio. If you think XRP is going to go to $1,000 in the next 4 years, then you also need to do some more research, because that's not happening. I hope you've enjoyed this video. There will be the FOMC above me, Martyn's FOMC. You can choose me or Martyn. There's 2 streams up here. There will be the newsletter right over here. Go sign up to it. But until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Okay, so that's going to come out as its own video, hopefully, as long as I was filming that, which I think I was. Let me go over to your comments. We're actually going to start the Electrum event. So you've got about 5 minutes to, if you're watching live, that's going to come out its own video, so you managed to catch us cover that live. If you are watching live, Electrum event. If you want to be a VIP member, Electrum event, become a member. Go to the homepage of the channel, say I want to become a member or upgrade your membership. Join me for the Electrum event starting in 7 minutes. In fact, I actually have to push that back, because we were supposed to be starting about 7 minutes ago. So I apologize to all Electrum members. That will be starting on the hour now. So let me just read something coming through from Martyn. Show my event. Okay, yeah, I will do, Martyn. Hasn't talked about CFTC. No, not yet. I haven't talked about the CFTC. We'll cover that tomorrow with the news. Thanks, Sensei. No worries. Fed can replace gold, 300,000, then pay debts. Next day, reprice gold again to $35. Problem solved. Problem won't be solved. Let me go through some of these comments. Who are these idiots? I don't know who you're talking to. I hope you're not talking about me. Didn't Netflix buy Warner Bros, or was it just fake news? No, it was in the newsletter. Obviously, they have to. Is the government going to allow them? They have won the bid. Yes, they have won the bid, but we are. Did we get this email sent to his reading? Human Being Liz, no, you have not got this email. This will come out as a deep dive. It was just something I put together for the show. You haven't got this email. I'm gonna expand on it. I might put it out. Maybe I'll put it out, but maybe it'll just be part of one of the daily newsletters. But no, you haven't. You didn't. You weren't supposed to. Don't worry, you haven't missed it. Liz says, "Lol, David, I was just trying to save my SD card since hours. Thought it was today. British service, you make me laugh. Tried not to think of this market this weekend. Yeah, has it been a bad weekend? Look, I mean, at this point of the market, I don't even. I've got my levels. I know where I'm buying. I keep an eye on it if I want to take any trades, but also remember, we could have, and I'm not ruling this out. We've been crushed for a while, and as I said with XRP at 80,000, we could have a big move towards the upside, and we did. We went to 93,000. That was 15% in a week, but we could go higher. We could have a month of crypto absolutely crushing the shorts. We can have a month where XRP goes from $2 all the way up to $2.62. We can have a month where Bitcoin goes from, and that same month, Bitcoin can go from 75 or 80,000 or 90,000 all the way up to 105,000, all for it to be a lower high and continue into the bear market. So there could be big pumps even in a bear market. And of course, we can switch the tune and go into a bull market as well. That's why you just need to be prepared for everything. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to film a trailer for that FOMC. So let me go back to here. The live stream you're about to watch is the FOMC special. Make sure you have signed up to newsletter. It will be in the live chat. It will be pinned. Why? Well, because you've got the full FOMC breakdown coming on FOMC day. You'll have the full market cheat sheet, what I'm looking at, what you need to look out for, how the day is going to go, what you need to hear Jerome Powell saying, and also there's a big concern in 2026. As investors, we look forward to 2026. But this live stream is very important. We're going to have the Fed We're going to know if the Fed are cutting rates or if they're not cutting rates. Let me show you this over here. We're going to be watching the Fed watch tool, and in this stream, we're actually going to get the data. We're going to know if the Fed cut rates or didn't. We've got an 86% chance of them cutting rates, so we are expecting a rate cut. However, in this stream, if they do not cut rates, we can see the market go down 20%, crypto go down 30% in a matter of minutes, because the market's pricing a rate cut. If we don't get a rate cut, then the market will not like it. We're going to see that in this stream. But even more importantly, we're going to have Jerome Powell live on the show, and we're going to be looking at him. And we're going to be analyzing his speech. So behind the scenes, we're going to be watching Jerome Powell. I'm going to be analyzing what he's saying, and we're going to be looking at the charts. Is there any trade setups? Is there not? Again, we never give financial advice, but I might be trading this event in the background, looking at the charts, looking for any potential trade setups, looking at XRP, what is to come. So make sure you tune into this event. There will be a little slider. I think it's over here, or it might be on the other side of the screen, where you can just slide out this trailer and then press notify me. Please make sure you've hit the like button as well. Leave a comment in the live chat, but make sure you come back to this event. Make sure you can see the time in your local zone, put it in your calendar, or make sure you've subscribed and you've pressed the notification bell. Hit the like button so you join me live for Jerome Powell and the FOMC. I'm covering it, Martyn's covering it. You can choose who you watch it with. So I look forward to welcoming you into this very special exclusive live stream, live event that we're bringing to you. I'll see you in the event. We'll be reacting to all your comments. We'll be engaging with all the community. Do consider becoming a member, and make sure you've subscribed to that newsletter. First link in the description, and it's also in the live chat. Until next time, I'll see you in the event. Bye-bye. That will also come out as a trailer for the event. So if you're confused about that, that's what that is. What we're going to do now is go over to our Electrum event. Have we had anyone? If you join as an Electrum member, it comes up on the screen, and we can celebrate you becoming an Electrum member. But in 2 minutes time, we're starting that Electrum event. Let me see if there's any more comments. BMNR looks really good buy and very good growth. Go Ethereum for future growth. Congratulations. Will, Anointed Flowers. Hi, Sensor. Why is Lunk breaking? Didn't you say it was a scam? I said Lunk is a terrible investment. Why? Because it was Luna. Remember Terra Luna? It brought down, that was 2021, 2022. It brought down the whole market because it depegged, and then it switched to Lunk. It's a dead project. It's dead. It's just for traders that want to take on horrendous risks. It's awful. I want to invest in it. Terrible. It's a sell. I've been saying that for the longest time. You might have great days up 100%, 200%, because it's just for degens. They call them in the crypto space. No, not more Electrum, because it's my bedtime and fall asleep. Oh, human being Liz, I'm so sorry. But we are going to have extra Electrum events as well. So we're going to have some after shows where we do chart analysis. So yeah, we will do different Electrum events as well. Have a lot of fun. Thank you, human being Liz. This is next month or two. Will be very interesting for crypto for sure. Yes, it will be. Silver members versus Electrum members. I love it, James. Electrum is I think it's only like $1 more than silver, so you get a lot more perks for just an extra $1 a month. So if you are a silver member, certainly consider becoming an Electrum. Who has Electrum members? I think we've got about. I think there's about. We have about 100 people join. Well, that can join the Electrum events, specifically Electrum events. Members, I'm not sure, because remember the Electrum events are open to everyone Electrum and above. Yeah, it's 11 p.m. here. Oh, it's 10 p.m. here in the UK. Oh, so it's a bit later for you. Anyway, let's go over to our Electrum event. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This will take you directly to the Electrum event. Do consider becoming an Electrum event. I'm going to start the show, and then the quiz will actually start, or the trivia will actually start. I'll show your. Okay, let me see if I can find this as well. Okay, let me go over to. Martyn is live later. I forgot to say. Martyn will be live after my Electrum show. Martyn's going to be live, and let me give you a snippet into what Martyn's doing today. So let me go over here. Martyn is live after the Electrum event. Here we go. So, dumb money. Here it is. Let's watch this. This is
Electrum show today.
Let me play you this.
Right after Sensei's Electrum show. I have a special for you. You can't afford to miss this. Dumb money, the lost money, XRP, Bitcoin, lost crypto, 1 in 7 lost, death and taxes. Join me for a special event tonight, right after Sensei's event, the Electrum event. You might want to join for that. A live game show every Sunday night, and you can learn all about trading, crypto, and stocks as we prepare for the biggest event of the year, the FOMC report. Go there now, and you'll hear the CEO of Gorilla telling you all about why you should tune in to our events, not shows. Events. So, coming right up after Sensei's show tonight, XRP, Bitcoin, the dumb money, lost crypto, 1 in 7 lost. Can you afford to miss it? It's an event, and I'll be bringing you information that I've just discovered that should scare you and prepare you for the FOMC report on Wednesday. Many of you are playing your crypto bags wrong. We have the evidence to back it up. Join us very, very soon. Straight after this, this is the trailer for the main event. I'll see you right after this. Take care.
There we go. That's coming up later. That is the trailer for Martyn's event later. So do tune into Martyn. That'll be up right after the Electrum show. James has just said, if there's a prize for winning the Electrum quiz, I'll consider it. There is a prize. There's merchandise. You win. Someone wins a mug every single week, and the odds are actually pretty good because I would say there's probably about 20 people participating a week. Sometimes less, sometimes more, sometimes way less, and sometimes more. But depending on the week, it's going to get busier and busier. So right now, it's probably your best chance to start winning these. So the top 3 all get a prize. The number 1 prize is a mug from the show. And remember, I think from tomorrow we might have something in the merch store that everyone's gonna like. Last time we did a limited edition mug, it sold out every day in minutes. We started, it sold out the first one in 5 minutes, and by the very last day they were selling out in 30 seconds. Tomorrow might be the beginning of the Christmas mug edition on the merch store, so make sure you tune in on my morning forecast show tomorrow, and I might have them ready for you. It's coming soon. If it's not tomorrow, it'll be the day after, but it might be tomorrow. So if you want number 1, and they're all numbered, if you want number 1, you might have to be tuning in tomorrow. A prize, didn't know. Wow, I didn't know. No, James, there is prizes. Mugs are given away every week. FOMC is going to be great. Tune in for that. Tune in to Martyn later with his dumb money in about an hour. That starts. When was that? Let me just check the timings. In 55 minutes that starts. So time to go over to the Electrum event and give out some prizes, have some fun, do some charts. Until next time, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you've got notifications on. Make sure you've got the like button. Make sure you've signed up to the newsletter. Make sure you're on an Electrum event because a member, because that's where we're going now. But thank you everyone for tuning in, whether you're a subscriber or a member. We appreciate you all, and every decision we make is based on you. That's why we don't take corporate sponsors. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye.